With the NBA draft, we always focus on who's going to be the number one pick, who's going to be the biggest steal of the draft, who's going to be that guy that we never saw coming that turns into one of the best players from the entire draft class. But we rarely ever focus on those outside of the top 10 and even outside of the lottery. So today, I would like to go over my top 4 underrated prospects and biggest steals of this year's NBA draft. 7'2", 235 pounds, and a knockdown three-point shooter. I've already dedicated an entire video to the prospect that is Bol Bol from Oregon. He's a monster athletically, a monster physically, and a monster shooting the ball with his skill level. Injury concerns are going to keep him out of the lottery with a foot injury that has sidelined many greats in the NBA before. But the skill level and upside of Bol Bol is really what makes him a top 10 to top 15 pick. He's slated to be right outside the lottery, probably from picks 14 to 20. He averaged 21 and 10 in only 9 games at Oregon, but the stats from those 9 games are really something to be excited about. In the last 6 games from Syracuse to San Diego, he shot at least 40% in every single game from beyond the arc. He's had games of 4 of 6 from the three-point line, 2 of 3 from the three-point line, and is a very efficient player on a high volume of shots. He's a defensive monster with a 7'10" wingspan, or just about, that is able to send shots into the upper decks. I'll be sure to link my Bol Bol video so you can get a more detailed description of what I think of the son of an NBA legend. But at the 15th pick, he could easily be one of the biggest steals in this year's draft. My next steal, at the number 20 pick slated by NBADraft.net, is Brandon Clarke. Clarke transferred to Gonzaga after his first year in college, and ever since then has been a dominant force in all of NCAA basketball. In his 2 years at Gonzaga, he averaged just about 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 blocks a game. While Brandon Clarke is only 6'8", 215 pounds, his athleticism and natural instincts on the defensive end make him a real problem in the lane. I'm not sure how his length will equate to the next level, but if Brandon Clarke brings his same attitude and instincts to the defensive end, don't be surprised if in a couple years he's vying for the Defensive Player of the Year award. Clarke is a sneaky good player on the offensive end. He shot over 60% from each of his years in college and shot a decent 70% from the free throw line at his final year at Gonzaga. But the big thing with Clarke is his all-around game. He's an athlete, he gives everything he has on the court, and it shows in his defense and rebounding for being an undersized forward at the next level. He played in big games with Gonzaga and proved to be the most reliable player on both ends of the court for a stacked Gonzaga Bulldogs team. Clarke's mid-range game and inside game is where he's going to flourish in the NBA, but he'll have to get his three-point shooting up in order to fit with the current NBA style. He only shot 27% from 3 last season, though he barely took any during the entire season at all. Clarke is really the biggest question mark for me in this draft, besides Bol Bol. He could turn out to be one of the best defenders, a great scorer on the inside, and I could see him developing past the NBA comparison that's been put out about Jordan Bell into more of an offensive force with natural athleticism and shot blocking ability on the back end. Clarke showed his ability to play in big games during the NCAA championship. Versus Baylor in the second round, he put up 36 and 8 on 83% field goal shooting, 5 blocks and 2 steals. Versus FSU in the Sweet 16, he put up 15 and 12 on 40%, but came up with 5 big blocks in clutch time, and had 18 and 12 with 2 blocks. Really one of the few players that played incredibly well for Gonzaga in the Elite Eight versus Texas Tech. But overall, Clark has the ability to be a defensive stopper in the NBA, so don't be surprised if he becomes one of the best players from the 2019 draft class. On North Carolina, everybody was focused on two players, Luke May and Nasir Little. But the big difference is that there was a player on the wing that nobody really paid any attention to, but was easily one of the best players in all of college basketball for his team, and that was Cameron Johnson. 6'9", 210, sort of guard forward, playing for North Carolina this past season, a 4-year senior, averaged 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists this season. But he looks like a really good 3-and-D player at the next level. He's tall, he's lanky, and has shown the ability to be a very consistent three-point shooter, which is really where Cameron Johnson is going to shine. He shot 46% from 3 on high volume, 50% from the field, and 82% from the line. He's not going to kill you with athleticism or a big bounce, but he knows how to get to his spot and knows to knock it down when he needs to. He almost shows signs of Klay Thompson. He moves well without the ball. He's good at making contested jump shots, but doesn't require the amount of shots or really the attention to be a great player on a great team. He really got overshadowed at North Carolina with players like Kobe White, Nasir Little coming off the bench, and Luke May, but he still averaged decent numbers for his final season. And there's nothing better in the NBA than getting a 4-year senior who has had the experience and time to develop. Looking at his stats throughout the 4 years, maintaining pretty much the same amount of minutes and actually losing minutes from his sophomore season to his senior season, from 33 to 30, he continually improved his game each and every year. He started out at 39 and 37% from the field and 3-point in his first year, and ended up at 50 and 45, playing more minutes and scoring more efficiently overall. Cameron Johnson could easily be a better Justin Jackson, who could be a 3-and-D player on any NBA team and could be a solid role player or starter for a playoff team. It'll be interesting to see how Cameron Johnson sort of develops as he gets into his first couple years in the NBA, as he'll probably go to a team that is in playoff contention and looking for another piece to help build their championship team. Cameron Johnson got overshadowed at North Carolina, but I'm sure that he will not be overshadowed as he makes his jump to the NBA. If you've ever watched Michael Porter Jr. highlights of his senior season at Nathan Hale High School, the team that went 26-0 and won a state championship under Brandon Roy, you'll notice that there's a guy next to Michael Porter Jr. that sort of looks like him and sort of plays like him. And that's his brother, Jonte Porter. Jonte Porter got really overshadowed because of Michael Porter Jr. And I mean, I can't blame him. Michael Porter Jr. was the top prospect on a top team in the country and could be a great NBA player if his health ever gets in line. But Jonte Porter is really sneakily close to his older brother. He's 6'11", 240 pounds, and has pretty much the same skill set as his bigger brother. The big thing with Jonte Porter has been his consistency. He only shot 44% from the field, 37% from 3, and 75% from the free throw line. He only averaged 10 points and 7 rebounds a game with 2 blocks, but the potential is where Jonte Porter lies. He's a very good shooter when he is on. I mean, in games this season versus Vanderbilt, he shot 100% from 3, taking 4 of them, 90% from the field, and dominated with 24 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and a block. But then, turn around to the first round versus FSU, he shot 14%, had 2 turnovers, 2 points, and 4 fouls. The big thing with Jonte Porter will be his consistency. He's got the skills of a guard, he has a good free throw stroke, and can shoot from all around the court. He's a southpaw, so that immediately makes him a threat, And his size makes him able to play center, being 240 pounds, not to get bullied down low by some of the bigger players in the NBA. But the big thing is his consistency. If he's able to get his shooting numbers up, specifically his three-point percentage to above 40, he could be a quality big man, such as Kristaps Porzingis, that can stretch the floor and still be a big man down low to play for an NBA team and possibly be a great six-man coming off the bench for someone. Porter has all the tools to become a great player in the NBA. It's all a matter of becoming a consistent player, which the NBA demands. It demands that you know what you're doing, which Jonte Porter does, but it also demands that you do it every single night on a consistent basis. If Jonte Porter is able to shoot his woes away and continue to fix his three-point percentage, Jonte Porter could easily become one of the good players in this draft. And being slated as a late second-round pick, even in NBADraft.net being the last pick in the draft, there's no reason why an NBA team should not take a chance on